Hello and welcome to our webinar. This is Tammy Bonnell, CEO of Exit Realty Corp International. Regardless of what business you're in, I want to talk to you about accelerating your business in 2016. You know, when you put your foot on the accelerator and you're in a really great sports car, how much smoother that ride is. And all of this is going to be about creating momentum and creating that smooth ride so that you're in a well-oiled machine as far as your business goes. If you could wave a magic wand, your perfect world, paint a picture for me of your best 2016. Right now would be the best time for you to get out pen and paper if you don't already have it. We always remember what we write down. It goes right into your memory, it goes right into your subconscious, and you remember it. And it's good to have the notes for later on. Seriously think for me, if you could wave a magic wand, your perfect world, what is your best 2016? Whether you measure that by dollars, you measure that by sales, you measure that by certain accomplishments, it all boils down to targets, timelines, and tactics. So my target is X amount of dollars by December 31st, 2016, and how I'm going to do it is the tactics. Or I'm going to do X amount of sales by December 31st, whatever it is you want to accomplish. Don't hesitate to write things down that you have on a personal level as well, because we all get what we focus on, and the key is to make sure that focus is consistent. That consistency is what creates momentum. Today is November 3rd. You have 8 weeks to fine-tune a working plan. Don't worry, you can always continue to fine-tune it as time goes on, but you really want a solid working plan that you're going to focus on. Most of us work in our business, but not on it. That's really the reason that most people end up staying average and they don't accelerate that process. It's because they're working in their business, not on it, not focused on how they can constantly fine-tune, how can they constantly improve, and where it is that they can make sure they focus. So let's start with your plan. I want to talk about a 6-week action plan. Your first 6-week action plan will start November 15th. Write down that date. What's the best plan? Without question, the one you'll do, the one that you'll use. But an action plan speaks volumes. I've received business plans from people that are anything from on a napkin to hundreds of pages with charts and graphs like crazy. And the reality is, unless we have action orientation items, unless we're really working on our business and really focused on it, too many of us put a plan together in October, November, or December, and we look at it maybe at the end of every quarter, maybe at the end of every month, but not often enough, and we don't really make it a focus so that it is actually a living, breathing object. We want to make sure that this is really what it is. Action creates that mindset for you. It's important to be that general on the hill and have a perspective of where you are. Remember, we have 8 weeks. By the time we get down to this 6-week action plan, November 15th, we'll have 6 weeks before year end. If we put our foot on the accelerator and we finish this year strong, we're much more likely to start 2016 strong and really focus going in that direction. So I want to walk you through a 6-week action plan and give you that picture and that perspective. I can tell you that I've coached several people, and the number one thing they come back to me with is that this 6-week action plan made all the difference in the world. There'll be a handful of things that I'm going to say that I will mention to you that I want you to really remember, and this is one of them, that 6-week action plan. Halfway through the month, and you know what your schedule is better than I. It doesn't matter whether that's 12 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 12, midnight to 4 a.m. Halfway through the month, as close as you can possibly get, because everyone's work schedule and life schedule is different, book off 4 hours to work on your business, not in it. 4 hours to really concentrate on what it is that you want to get out of the next 6 weeks. You're going to overlap because you're going to do it every single month, but it's really understanding that. Now, as soon as you possibly get an opportunity between now and November 15th, if you don't already have one, get a day timer, a weekly day timer. I know that we have every piece of technology known to man, but I also know that you remember what you write down, and you want it visible in front of yourself, that you are actually making an appointment with yourself to work on your business. You also want to have a picture of where you're headed over the next 6 weeks so you can maximize on every single appointment, on every single person that you're going to connect and communicate with. And the best way to do that is to have it visible in front of you. You want to have a calendar of events for everything that you're involved in. If you're involved in any organizations that are tied to your business, your specific business, every calendar of events from November 15th till the end of the year, you want to have those calendar of events in front of you. Every potential client you're going to work with, you're going to want to have those in front of you. I'm going to talk about influential people, and I'm going to talk about dirty dozen. For now, just write those words down because you're going to want to make sure that you focus on them in your 6-week action plan. If you do this every single month, you will be a completely different person and a completely different business professional by the end of 2016. You won't even recognize the difference. You will accelerate the process of growth so rapidly by just working on your business, not in it. Take everything, a schedule of events for your life, a schedule of events for your business, everywhere you're supposed to be so that you can maximize on every single opportunity. You want to ask yourself some effective questions. What should I be learning? Who should I be surrounding myself with? What information do I need to know to take forward to serve the people that I'm serving? Every person that you're going to be in front of, you want to connect with them by Googling them, friending them on Facebook, connecting with them on LinkedIn, finding out what's really important to them. And I'm going to touch base on a few more things as we go further, but you want to plan in advance. If you have an appointment on the 17th, and that appointment is to make a presentation for a sale, you really want to Google the person you're going to be selling to, Google the company that they work with, get to know as much about that individual as humanly possible, and get to know as much about their needs as humanly possible before you get in front of them. How do I want to make that person feel? What do I want to accomplish when I get there? The more I focus on this in advance, and we're talking about literally 4 hours, do the same thing for anniversaries, birthdays, things that are going on in your own life so that you really focus on it. They've done several studies, and they've determined that we spend more time focusing on doing an action plan for our vacation, our 1 week or 2 week or whatever that time frame is vacation, than we do on our whole entire life. And yet we can really do an action plan that will make all the difference in the world. Every month you'll get better at it. You'll determine what it is you need to bring. By now, for me, I have all of the books on CD that I want to listen to in my car, that I want to listen to on planes. I have all of the information of things that I really need to learn. I have all of that information in front of me so that I'm really aware and I'm ahead of the curve before I get in front of anyone that I'm going to speak to, speak with, present to, and you can really fine-tune this to the point that you're ahead of what people's expectations are. Included in that 6-week action plan, you're going to want to have a 30,000-foot view, a 2,000-foot view, and a street-level view. Accurate market knowledge of what it is that you deal with, your specific business, real-time information. I'll give you a perfect example. In the real estate industry, that 30,000-foot view is the National Association of Realtors. It's Inman News. It's riskmedia.com. If you're in a finance business, maybe one of those 30,000-foot views is the Wall Street Journal. But you're going to want to have that 30,000-foot view perspective. All you want to do is gather information about your business. You're going to find trends faster than anybody else. You're going to know what the trends are. You're going to know what your consumer is looking at because they're all online in real time, and you need to be online in real time too. If it's the medical business, if you're in the medical field, then you're going to want to make sure that it's something related to the medical field. But you want to have that 30,000-foot view, whether that's a global view or a national view. You want to make sure that you have that perspective. What are those, if you can write them down right now, what are those magazines, those places for information similar to the Wall Street Journal? Most of them you can get online, and all you're going to want to do is save the things that are pertinent to you and your business where you are. Then you're going to want to have the 2,000-foot view, which is typically a province or a state, that individual state, because trends that happen there are more likely to happen all over the entire state. How do I get that 2,000-foot view? And I'm going to touch base on a couple places that you can get that information, not just things that are related to a state-level basis. in that street level view. That might be organizations you're involved in that you're connected with, like your local real estate association if you're in real estate. But whatever it is, real-time information that helps you to have a perspective on your business, things that will help you to stay ahead of the curve, because you don't want to run into a wild card that your consumer is getting more information than you are, because big data is providing that information. Always remember that the human element is more important than anything else, so you've got to think of how this impacts your consumer. How does this impact your client? The information that you're learning about your specific business, how does it impact them? Obviously, you want to be aware of how it impacts you and see opportunities, whether that's trends that are coming down the pike and things that, you don't want to be blindsided by anything, but you also want to be prepared in advance. So having that view, having that perspective, I bring that information with me to my 6-week action plan so that I'm ahead of the curve every single month on anything that's new. Next, you want to have a perspective on yourself. What are you good at? What is it that you should be concentrating on? Typically, we're good at a couple of things that we really excel at and that we should be focused on. Those things that generate revenue, those things that help you build. You really want to have a perspective on yourself. Are there things that you should be concentrating on and learning that will help you to be better in the profession that you're in? If so, what are they? And how do you incorporate that into your regular business? Having a perspective on yourself of really understanding what your personality is. I recommend getting a personality profile test so that you understand, are you a people-oriented person or are you a task-oriented person, so that you can help fill in the gaps for the people that you are working with. Having a perspective on yourself will help you to be able to serve others better. Warren Buffett and Oprah Winfrey said, most of us have 12 to 25 people that are the most influential people in your life. And most of those people are really influential in your business. If you're in a sales type business, typically those people have referred you a tremendous amount of business. In fact, probably the majority of your business that you have. But in any business, those people have had an impact, whether they're a mentor, a role model, have pointed you in the right direction of what it is you need for information. Even those people that are willing to give you the cold, hard facts about yourself, the truth about yourself. You want to serve these people. You want to serve these people better than anyone else. They will constantly help your business grow. They will constantly help your life grow. Write down right now, while we're on this slide, those 12 to 25 most influential people in your life, those people that had a positive impact, that pushed you out of your comfort zone, that made you take a step further. We're going to work with these people a lot over the rest of this year, and we're going to work with these people a lot over next year. They've been doing an incredible amount of studies. Harvard Business School did a study and determined that we spend 5 to 7 times as much money going after new people to deal with in our business when we had all of these people that we could have served exceedingly well right in front of us, and we went on to the next thing instead of really focusing on what really matters to them. It is so easy with big data to get lost. It's so easy with all of this information that we're being inundated with, all of the things that we're being hit, everything from the amount of PIN numbers we need to know to all of the information that's being bombarded towards us every single day. It's harder and harder to matter, and that is the number one thing your client, your consumer, human beings in general want, is to matter. So as you're writing those people down, start thinking. Warren Buffett and Oprah Winfrey stated that they believe the same thing, that those are those most influential people in your life. I figure if it works for a billionaire, it probably works for the rest of us. You need to find out what's important to them. So write down these couple of things and start doing it on a regular basis. You want to do this, by the way, with every consumer you're going to get in front of and every client you're going to get in front of. But with these people, you really want to make sure that you dig deep and you follow through with this as soon as humanly possible, preferably between now and November 15th when you're going to do your 6-week action plan. Number 1, Google them. Number 2, friend them on Facebook. Connect with them on LinkedIn. Put them into Google Alerts so that if anything gets written about them newsworthy, you get that information. Put them into socialmention.com so that if it ends up online anywhere, you'll learn about it. You will find some common grounds with these people that you never knew before. You'll also find out what their priorities are. You'll find out what they're focused on. You won't let things fall through the cracks. You will absolutely be able to show them on a regular basis how much you care. Before I go into my 6-week action plan, I Google these people all over again in case there's anything new. I make sure that they're in my feed on Facebook so that that 12 to 25 people is, as soon as I go to my homepage, that's the information that's coming in front of me on a regular basis. So if there's anything going on in their lives, an illness, a birthday party, a graduation, an anniversary, anything that's going on, I don't want anything to fall through the cracks. I want to make sure that I connect and communicate with that person so they feel like $1,000,000 about our relationship and our connection. And I don't want it to ever be artificial. It's always honest. It's always integrity-based, that you're really being honest with them. You truly do care about them. It's why you do your homework on them, because they matter. They're a priority to you. Typically, these people refer us more business than anyone else, but they also help us to become better at our business and better people, which will help us to attract other people. The more that we attract better business, the better we're going to accelerate our own growth process. Next on the list, and remember what I said about those major things? Well, the first major thing was a 6-week action plan. The second major thing was that 12 to 25 most influential people. Here's the third most major thing. Finding a dirty dozen. You may only find 6 in the beginning, and it's working on it, being a work in progress. You want to find a dozen people that work around your business, not in it. So I'll give you a couple examples. In the real estate industry, that might be appraisers, home inspectors, mortgage companies, insurance companies, banks, all people that are tied to the business but not in it. They're not the real estate professional, but they all work around it. Not only will they help you to understand trends, they'll understand what's going on in the marketplace so that they have a different, just a slightly different perspective than you do, but they'll be able to help you to do your business better so you won't fall through cracks. If I'm a plumber, then I'm going to have all the other people that are related to my business. It might be suppliers, an electrician, a subcontractor, all the other subcontractors that are out there, contractors, the planning board. Try and make at least one person in that dirty dozen tied to a bank because they're related to every business, and typically on a local basis. They'll know what's going on a statewide basis and a local basis. By the way, these people will help you with an amazing perspective on that 2,000-foot view and that street level view, so you know where opportunities are, but you also know where obstacles are, so that you never end up at a dead end. These people will help fill in all of those gaps for you. And it's really all about you connecting with them and saying, you know what, you have an excellent reputation. I really respect you in the marketplace. I'd love it if we could connect once every 4 to 6 weeks. You share with me what's going on in your business, where you'd like to go. I'd love to help you to get there. And I'll share with you what's going on in my business. Let's help each other. Let's serve our clients better. And if you don't mind, let's connect every 4 to 6 weeks so that we can help each other do better. Share your plan with them. Make sure they share theirs. Have them share their goals and their dreams so that if you can help them get where they want to go. Typically, these people, just like your 12 to 25 influencers, are good for at least a couple referrals every single year. And better than that, they will help you to become such a consummate professional. You will accelerate that process because you'll know all the things that are working in and around what it is your business is. Make sure that one of those people, like I said, is tied to a bank. Make sure that somebody's tied to government. That can be on a local basis or on a statewide basis, that they're tied. It might be somebody that works in the planning board if I'm in the real estate industry, or I'm in plumbing. It could be somebody that's the mayor or the mayor's office. They might tell you about laws that are going to change related to your industry. They might tell you about things that are coming down the pike that might even be an opportunity for things that are building or something that's going to change. It might be something that's going to change within your specific industry that you are not aware of, and you'll stay ahead of the curve. You'll also stay connected to your entire community, which is really important because business has a local relationship always. You'll always fine-tune that dirty dozen, by the way. You'll have them be constantly fine-tuning, because you've got to remember, you hire the individual, you fire the whole company. If somebody does something that's not correct, that is going to be a reflection on you, and you don't want that to happen. You want to help them to become better and better professionals, and you want to help add value to their lives. Those people you want to Google, friend on Facebook, connect with on LinkedIn, find out what's important to them so that you can really share things that are important. I've done everything from send articles in magazines, send gifts, send books, send something, just forward something that a link that I found that I think will help them with their business, or it might help them with their child. Anything that will constantly add value. I keep a file on all of these people, that 12 to 25 and that dirty dozen, so that I can serve them better. Keeping a file on all the things that are going on in their world. We get caught up in a lot of busy things, a lot of busy work, a lot of input of things that are coming at us, and you don't ever want something that's really important to them to fall through the cracks. I review that every time I do a 6-week action plan, and I make sure that I update any information that's going on with them so that I really do serve them better. We're on to November, right? This is the month of November. November is gratitude month. You know that people don't write thank you notes anymore. It's very rare for somebody to get a thank you note. And I will tell you, a handwritten thank you note goes a million miles. The first thing you want to do is think of everybody that you've done business with over this past year, and you want to write them a thank you. But you want to be specific. I take the whole entire month so that it's not that I'm overwhelmed with writing nonstop thank yous. By the way, these people will all be an amazing foundation for your business. They'll be an amazing foundation for wishing you well towards the next year. There'll be amazing connections. They may even think of something that they wanted to connect with you on, but you may have fallen through the cracks and now you won't. Write thank you notes that are specific and that are detailed. Remember that it's never too late to say thank you, and it's never too late to write a thank you note. That 12 to 25 most influential people, I want you to write something of gratitude to each of them. It doesn't matter whether they've impacted your family in a positive way, they've impacted you in a positive way, they've taught you something new. Our founder and chairman taught me all about affirmations and gave me so much perspective on affirmations and the affirmation principle and affirming things, and it has had an enormous impact. So that's always something that I want to reach out and write a thank you for. They may have taught you something. They may have actually given you a hard lesson that you needed to learn, but specific what that has had for an impact in your business, in your personal life. Make sure that it's something specific. Just thank you does not have the same impact. But write those notes, spread it out across the entire month, that this is a month of gratitude, we're heading towards Thanksgiving, and I just wanted to thank you. You will really be setting a foundation. You're sending out incredible goodwill, you're going to be attracting very much goodwill towards yourself, and it's an amazing habit to get into. Always write thank you notes all through the year, but especially here, and I try and make them into more formal letters. You're really setting up that foundation, but especially that 12 to 25 and your dirty dozen. Imagine just 37 thank you notes. It's a little more than one a day, and what that impact is going to have on them and what that impact is going to have for them future tense. When we get into the month of December, you want to finalize that plan. All these exercises are exercises to activate your thoughts so that you are proactively working towards your future. You want to finalize your business plan for 2016. You also want to, December 15th, do a 6-week action plan. We all have unbelievable moving parts. You'll determine each time you do a 6-week action plan, what are those things that I'm going to bring with me? What do I need to have in front of me? You want to, by the way, make sure you book off 4 hours that you're not going to be interrupted. Leave a message for your consumer or for anyone else. I'm not available right now. I'm working on my business so I can serve you better. Make sure that everyone's aware of that time. Make sure it's a private place, that no one is going to give you any interruptions, and you want to really finalize. You'll have had so many thoughts that are going through your mind, plus having those conversations. Any opportunity you have, by the way, throughout this month with people celebrating holidays, etc., to try and connect with those dirty dozen live, to try and connect with those 12 to 25 most influential people, to really sit down and have a conversation with them and share with them what your plan is. Have a cup of coffee, have lunch with them, break bread with them, and have a conversation about where you want to head. They love to give advice. Ask them where they want to go and see if there's any way that you can help them in return. It's always proactively doing that, it'll help you to fine-tune your plan. They might see something that you don't see. They might see an angle that you don't see, and it'll absolutely help you so that nothing falls through the cracks. When you get to January, you want to share your plan with everyone. I do it in a formal email letter. I write them out individually. I tell them what it is I want to accomplish, what it is I'm going to focus on, and I tell them what it is that I see good in them and what it is that I have for an impact. I'll give you a great example. A couple years ago, I wrote a letter to my Dirty Dozen, and I wrote a letter to those influential people in my life, and I told them that I was going to focus on leadership. And I actually told them if they could think of anywhere that I should be speaking, anything I should be attending that would help me to be a better leader, if they had suggestions for how I dress, how I speak, maybe a phrase I say too much, any suggestions, I was absolutely open to it, and that I really appreciated it. Then I wrote to them on what it is that I saw in them in true leadership. Maybe it was how they handled a crisis. Maybe it was how they handled some individuals that came to them that just kept coming back that weren't proactive. Anything I saw in them from a leadership perspective, I wrote it, but I made sure it was individual. I wrote to a person that is vice president of marketing that's part of my Dirty Dozen. She wrote back and said, hey, here's a place I think you should attend. Here's a place I think you should speak. And but P.S., don't lose the shoes. I happen to love shoes, and it showed that we had a connection. But I made them part of my plan by sharing my plan, by telling them what was good, and they all felt like they had a responsibility to help me do better. And I absolutely feel like I have a responsibility to help them do better. You will really get out of the gate quickly, and it's really thinking about it. None of this takes several hours, by the way. Every single month, including your 6-week action plan, we're truly talking about 8 hours a month. We have a saying in our company, all in for exit. I suggest that everybody keeps a journal, but an all-in journal, so that you're really focused on what were you all in for today. All of us know when we were all in. We also know when we phoned it in. You want to track the good stuff and forget about the stuff that didn't work. Don't forget about it completely so you don't make that mistake again, but you want to really focus on what it is that you want to do more of in 2016. What do you want to do more of? What's truly working for you? What were those times today that you were all in? We know when all of a sudden we zoned out and we weren't really paying attention to that person talking. We know it. When we have anything, a speaking engagement that we didn't prepare for in advance, and a presentation for somebody that's a client. But we also know when we did all our homework, we were completely all in, we were completely engaged, we were completely passionate, and so does your client. Keep a journal of that. It'll make you want to do it more. We focus on and we feel the best about ourselves when we accomplish something we didn't know we could. You stay focusing in this direction. Anytime you have hesitation, anytime you have fear, it will bring you back to what you get for a benefit out of it when you're all in, and you will continue to do it, and you will do more of it more often. Every day from now on, because it all has to do with our attitude and our outlook. Attitude controls altitude, right? It controls how quick I can get from where I want to do. I want you to do me a favor. It only takes 120 seconds. At the beginning of your day, knowing what you have scheduled, I want you to close your eyes and take 120 seconds and visualize your day. Remember, it's not what you said, it's how you make people feel. That whole entire thing. How do I want that client to feel? What do I want the end result to be? Throughout your entire day, everything from picking up your kids from school to being in front of that most important client. What do I want to have happen? Do I want them to sign something? Do I want them to agree to a next meeting? Visualize it going incredibly right. Not only will it put you in the right headspace, but you'll be amazed at how close to the way you visualize it, it's actually happening. At the end of your workday, for 2 reasons. Number one, us entrepreneurs, we have a very bad habit of taking our work home, and it will be one of those ways that you can actually separate it. Take 120 seconds at the end of your workday to ask yourself what worked today. Don't forget to write it down. Don't forget to write it in your all-in journal. Stay focused on what worked. We're much more likely to come back in the next day and focus from that direction and build from that position of strength and build from what worked. It might have been a tagline in an email. It might have been how you made somebody feel. It might have been that you really got that best deal signed today, or that you got more appointments than any other time. but focus on what worked. We're all a work in progress, and this helps us to actually progress faster, to really accelerate that process of evolving as a consummate professional. Don't forget, it's all about the experiences. Give people experiences. Give people wow moments. How can I make this an amazing experience? How can I make this a wow moment for them? What can I do that's going to separate me from the pack? What's going to be, and I'll tell you, doing the homework on the individuals and making it personal will make all the difference in the world on those experiences. But how can I make that a wow experience? When I do that, I track it and I write it down, all of that will make a huge difference. Remember, the key to attracting what you want is to be constantly growing and focused on it. I hope this helps you accelerate in 2016. I want to thank you for spending the time with us today. This is my contact information. Write it down. I'd love for you to share with me what it is you want to accomplish in 2016, how you plan on accelerating that process, what you're all in for. Share your results, share your success stories, and hopefully we can help other people do better more often. Thanks for spending the time.